What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with the review for Greenleaf Season 5, Episode 6. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the show opens with Bishop on the phone with the FBI. If the FBI is proud to be in bed with the likes of Wicked City woman Rochelle, why isn't it made public? Grace comes in while May is trying to calm Bishop down, and she's like, who is he on the phone with? And May was like, oh, the FBI. He's trying to find out why Wicked City woman Rochelle is able to just travel and gallivant all around Memphis and nobody said anything. When he gets off the phone, Bishop is disgusted. The FBI said that she's not a person of interest any longer. I was like, how's she not a person of interest? Like all that shit that happened with the money and all that, and they just let it go. May says, James, you have to leave now if you're going to make it to your 8 o'clock appointment with the doctor. Child, he ain't going to no doctor. May, let it go. There's a woman out there who wants me dead. So going to the doctor's off the table. Grace was like, what does he have a doctor's appointment for? And he was like, I'm not going, so it don't even matter. And May was like, you have to go because I have a meeting set up with Tara. Grace was like, Tara James? Yes, because she wants to convince me that she didn't know anything about Wicked City woman Rochelle coming back. I said, come on now, May. I mean, that very, very well may be the truth, and I actually do believe that, but why is May just so out? We'll figure out why she's so hell-bent on being so forgiving. But anyway, Bishop said she just wants the house. May said, James, you are going to go to your appointment, aren't you? No, I'm not going to the appointment. I'm going down to the club to meet with the contractor. I'm looking towards the future. You can sit down with Tara all you want. Okay, even though he's the one that started all this. Well, actually, that dumbass Jacob did. But then Bishop followed suit. So he storms off, and May is just like, so frustrated with him. But at least he's going to be out the house, May. Grace is standing there, and she gets a phone call from Darius. And he was like, hey. And she was like, whose number are you calling from? And he says, when he was in Vegas, somebody broke into his hotel and stole his laptop and his phone. He was like, that Bob Whitmore really doesn't want this story to get out. I said, well, you better be looking over your shoulder. Them mofos is getting closer and closer, right? He says, hey, do you still have those email files that we had about the escrow, I think about Clark County? And she says, yeah, I think I do. She's like, excuse me, Mama, I'll be back. So she goes up to her quarters and she pulls open her laptop, and just as she's opening it up, to the files, they are being deleted. She was like, I can't believe this. He says, what's wrong? And she says, they're being deleted right as I'm looking at them. Okay. You got to get up pretty early in the morning to fool old Mr. Bob Whitmore. But anyway, this meeting with May and Tara. So they sit down, and Tara's trying to convince her that she did not know that Wicked City woman Rochelle was going to come back like that. Okay. May was like, but you called her after you met with Jacob. And she says, listen, I had to call her because, I mean, you know, my sister is very volatile. Okay, that's nice speak for crazy. If I didn't tell her, then it was going to be a problem. May, she's still my sister. And May was like, but you want my house, though. Give a damn if that's your sister. Listen, May is trying to do the right thing here, but all of this, you know, Wicked City woman Rochelle resurfacing is just not, you know, she don't know what to do with this bit of information. Tara starts to tell her, you know, Miss Greenleaf, when I came here and saw the house and how beautiful and big it was, I mean, I was just amazed at the things that it could do, you know, for her dreams of helping the people that need it. Yet and still, maybe this is not the right way to do it. There's too much turmoil, too much stuff going on. At least the way that they're going about it right now might not be the way. And May was like, well, thank you for seeing it my way. At the same time, we see Bishop, he's over at the club. Okay, he's meeting with the contractor, you know, finalizing some things, talking about permits, how long it's gonna take. And then, child, who should slither on up the stairs but Wicked City woman Rochelle herself. You guys, I tried to post a video of the I Love Lucy episode where I got Wicked City woman Rochelle from, and Instagram blocked it. I knew that they were going to, but I tried to anyway. But you guys, I mean, if she didn't look just like Lucy when she came up the stairs, you know, kind of look like she about to vamp the Bishop. Bishop was just like, oh Lord. He was throwed off, wasn't he? What do you want, Wicked City woman Rochelle? My sister told me that this was going to be a church. Imagine that. It's going to take a whole lot of work. Maybe you guys ought to burn it on down to the ground and just start fresh. I mean, that is how the Greenleafs do, isn't it? She just wants Bishop to come clean. She said, God knows, she knows, her family knows, and Bishop needs to come on clean about the things that he's done. I had nothing to do with that fire. She says, oh, really? But well, why things are going so bad for you and things are going so well for me? What do they say about success? Success is the evidence of holy favor. And looking at you, you are highly out of favor. Ask yourself, is this how the saint's life looks like? And he was like, get out. She said, oh, I'm leaving. Don't you worry about it. I don't even feel safe here standing next to you. Might get the worms. But let me tell you something. Much like Celie had to tell Mister, until you do right by me, everything you do is going to fail. Oh, Wicked City woman Rochelle, when is this going to end? This delusion you have. And she just stares at him with disgust. And he's like, what? Basie should have killed you when he had the chance. And walked out. I said, ooh, I guess if anybody really hates somebody, that Wicked City woman Rochelle hates her some Bishop Greenleaf. Now, back at the house, Charity goes to the gate. And who should be standing there but Mr. Yusef himself? She was like, can I help you? And he says, I'm here to help you. He just showed up in the middle of the day. Like, I mean, that's what we do. We just show up at gates and stuff. Anyway, Charity brings him into the house. And, you know, Yusef is this same petty, slightly mean, slightly suspicious self. When Grace comes in and he was like, oh, you the woman that I hung up on. And she was like, yes, but that's okay. He said, oh, I wasn't apologizing. Yeah, this ought to go swimmingly. She thanks Charity for doing it. You know, Charity's like, no problem, you know. All of a sudden, Charity's on board, so they go and sit down with Yusef. But Yusef made it clear with Grace, and this reporter that I'm talking to, he know this was off the record, right? And Grace was like, yes, I explained that to him. So let's sit down and get this show on the road. So Darius comes over and he tells them all the information that he's been able to gather so far. Evidently, Edenville Lending was going after people who had a mortgage but needed money, and so they would take a second. And then when they couldn't pay their huge balloon payment at the end, then they lost their mortgage. I was like, well, I mean, that's all that happened in the late 2000s. Okay, I had many friends that was caught up in that very exact same situation. This is what he's going through all this for, but Yusef says, yeah, that's right. But what kind of people was he going after? The light bulb goes off in Grace's head. Poor black families. That's right. He was trying to bleed everybody dry and taking all of this money. Okay, that's how Bob Whitmore came up. Okay, Charity is like, oh, please tell me that my man's sidekick Phil didn't know anything about this, did he? He can't be that evil, can he? And Yusef says, oh, no, he was just a baby. But he never told him because he didn't want sidekick Phil to look at his mother in any kind of negative light, even though the mama was working for Bob Whitmore. So Charity was like, well, you have to tell him because he won't believe it coming from me. But Yusef was like, oh, no, I ain't talked to that boy in years. Don't plan on talking to him now. But Charity was like, please, you have to talk to him. I was like, why are we talking to Sidekick Phil? I mean, this nigga is hell-bent on becoming the pastor of the church, and he don't give a damn about none of the rest of none of this. But Charity, I guess this is her last, you know, she got to try to save her man. And Yusef, I guess because he's looking into Charity's big brown eyes, okay, he can't resist. All right, we'll go on and give it a try. Well, that was easy enough. So next we see Sidekick Phil and Judy. They in the office talking. Charity walks in. Judy says, we know that you broke into the church yesterday. You need to give us your key. And Charity kind of ignores old Fire Marshal Bill. And she was just like, I brought somebody for you to talk to. And Yusef walks in. Okay, Sidekick Phil, no reaction. Judy was like, who is this? Your boyfriend? No, I'm his daddy. Judy was like, look at that. I'm his fiance. Okay. Girl, if y'all gonna sit your old scrawny ass down somewhere. But anyway, Sidekick Phil is like, what are you doing here? So we don't get to hear the full story of what Sidekick Phil heard from his daddy. But at the end of the conversation, Sidekick Phil still is not moved. He picks up the phone. He says, I'm gonna call the police. And Charity snatches the phone from him. And she was just like, what are you doing? You cannot call the police. He is trying to help you. And he was like, I don't know what this nigga trying to do, but what I do know is when I was little and young and my mama was working her ass to death, he just sat there and played crossword puzzles and didn't help out no kind of way. I'm not trying to sit here and listen to this man today. So Sidekick Phil looks at Yusef and he says, I don't want to ever see you here again. And you can see that Yusef is actually hurt. All that brash exterior and just a softy on the inside. So he turns around and leaves. And Charity looks at him and she says, I'm going to pray for you because only God can help you now. Okay, and God ain't too impressed either. So when they leave, you know, Judy's like, I cannot wait until this building goes down. I was thinking to myself, like, that huge ass building, like somebody said in my comments. I had already been thinking it though. Why would they tear down all of, I mean, do you know how much revenue would be tied up in tearing down that building? It makes no sense. But anyway, she can't wait till it's torn down because, you know, the Greenleafs are like pigeons. Okay, it was like pennies last week. When Wicked City Woman Rochelle. Now they like pigeons. They just will never go away. So she tries to comfort old Sidekick Phil, and he just stands there kind of stiff. It kind of pushes her away without pushing her away. And so she just kind of walks off. And I was like, what you gonna do now, Sidekick Phil? Now that you done found out your hero, Bob Whitmore, ain't nothing but some bullshit. Now we see Grace and Noah there at the hospital. You know, they're just talking. She's talking to him about the caretaker's notes and him talking about that Negro and them just kind of trying to figure out what that meant. But anyway, she was like, how did you get AJ to see the doctor? And he was just like, well, you know, it's the craziest thing. He just seemed to be changed. You know, I think it has a lot to do with your dad offering up the car. I mean, he's excited. He's showing my mom all these pictures about what he plans on doing. And then when I just asked him about the doctor, he just said, okay. And I'll tell you guys, I have such a bleeding heart with certain things. I was just like, oh, AJ is trying. Even though he didn't really got on my nerves like the whole time. Like, he's trying, you guys. So anyway, while they're sitting there talking, AJ walks in and he was just like, oh, I see it. You know, and Grace and Noah like, you see what? He said, oh, I see how, you know, you got together with him and made me, and I can see it clearly now. I was like, I don't know what you're seeing because I don't see shit. Grace, don't you fall for it, girl. Don't get caught up in this. They was like, oh boy, shut up. And he was like, hey, listen, I you know, the doctor told me that I'm going to need some medication. It's just a pill, you know, and he's fine with that. However, he don't really have insurance. So, and before Grace could even say anything, Noah was like, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Okay. And Grace was sort of like, oh. You know, I think she's feeling replaced, you guys. AJ was like, okay, I'll let you take care of it. You know, he's teasing them again, like, look at you two, y'all so cute. You know, they just like, oh boy. When he walks away, Noah was like, listen, Grace, I know, you know, we not together or nothing, but if your parents end up giving the house over to Tara James, then, you know, I found a place right down the street from my mother's house, you know, for me and AJ, and you're welcome to come stay. Okay, just like a happy little family. Grace was just like, okay, thank you. And I was like, Grace, now listen, girl, you was a millionaire. First of all, I don't understand why you in your mom and your daddy damn house, but surely you don't need to be moving up in no house with Noah and AJ. I mean, are you really, I'm trying to figure out what exactly is Grace's mind going through. I've never gotten the feeling that she still has feelings for Noah. Is she just feeling this way because she feels like that's the only way that she's going to be able to have a place in AJ's life? Because otherwise, girl, what is we doing? You got that fine ass Darius out there working for you and you playing, you know, whatever this is with you and Noah. I'm confused. I think Grace might be too. Now jumping over to Zora Mama and Jacob. So, of course, they meeting at the mirror again. That's where they meet in place. You know, she putting on her earrings and she was just like, okay, you know, she just wants to make it clear that when they go to this person, I guess it's like a mediator, they're just telling Winky that they're getting a divorce. You know, she doesn't want to be arguing. First of all, Winky how old is Winky? He's 8, 7, 8. Do we really have to do a mediator and all this? Is Winky even going to understand fully what they talking about? Just say, listen, mommy and daddy got to live in 2 different places, but you're going to have 2 houses now, and it's going to be fun for both places. Jacob says, I know that, Zora Mama. I deserve joint custody. And she turns around and looks at him, and she says, you're not going to get it. I said, why aren't you going to get it, Jacob? Why are you listening to this? Okay, first of all, the secret is out. Everybody knows what everybody has done. Well, not really, because we still tiptoeing around the fact that Zora Mama is a big part of the reason why the church ain't with the family no more. But that's neither here nor there. You have not done anything to this little boy that a court would say that you cannot have joint custody of your child. Why are you just rolling over? Because you don't want to ruffle the waters none? While this woman is taking, full control of everything. Jacob, you better grow your backbone, and I'm talking about soon. We see Sophia go over to talk to Zora, and Zora's trying to set up a camera. And Sophia's like, I'm sorry, I was in the shower. What did you need? And she says, I need you to help me with this, because I'm trying to do an audition video for a school that she wants to go to. Okay. So Sophia's like trying to help her. She's fiddling around with the phone and everything. And then a message comes through, and it's a flight confirmation. And she was like, you going to New York? And she was just like, oh yeah, that's where the school is. Sophia was just like, what? She was like, yeah, girl, I got to get out of here. Like, my mom and my daddy, they got their life. I got my own life. Like, I cannot just be sitting here, waiting for them. I said, thank you, Zora. All right. Even though it is ambitious, at least Zora has made it up in her mind that she's got to do what she's got to do. Okay. She's too young to be doing all this by herself. But, at least you got to have the clear, like AJ was saying, you cannot stay up in this house the rest of your life. So Sophia's a little worried, but she's just like, okay. But she does go and she talks to old Thick Neck and Zora mama. They still in the room. Like, when y'all get into this meeting? Sophia was like, can I talk to you guys for a second? It's about Zora. So I guess Sophia lays it all out on the line what Zora's going through. And next we see Zora mama and Jacob go down to Zora's place, okay? And when they show up with that look of concern on their face, Zora was like, oh, I guess Sophia told you guys what I was doing, okay? And of course, Zora mama right away. So you gonna go to New York and you just gonna be sleeping on the streets? And she says, listen, I'm not a kid. And Jacob was like, and we know you're not a kid, and we're not trying to hold you back from your dreams, and we want to be supportive of what you are trying to do, okay? But we just asking for you to give us a few days. Listen, it's a whole lot going on around here. Let us just try to set some shit up. You don't have nowhere to stay in New York. Let us call your cousin that live up that way and see if you can stay with her for the summer, okay? Let us just try to help. Zora says, but doesn't she live in Hoboken? That's not New York. And Zora mama was like, listen, Zora, your dad is just trying to help. Listen, that conversation that Jacob had with Zora is even more proof that he should have joint custody with his son. He's able to converse and relate to his children better than that damn Zora mama is. She's so damn confrontational. If she would have been in control of that conversation, they would have been fighting. And Zora would have ran her ass off because we've seen her do it before. I'm so tired of Zora mama, I don't know what to do. Now back over there with Bishop, he come busting in the house after he done left the club. You are not giving this house to that con artist. Wicked City woman Rochelle stopped by the club and threatened me with all the subtlety of a gang leader. May says, oh really? Well, my conversation with Tara went quite well. She knows that Wicked City woman Rochelle is crazy. That doesn't mean that she gets to take our house. May says, well, Bishop, when I think about it, that first will just really troubles me. May, we don't even know that it's real. She made up the website. She could definitely make up a wheel. And May was like, okay. And did she light up the stars and the moon in the sky and bring the sunshine down every day? Like, come on, Bishop. You are starting to blame this girl for every single thing. Bishop can't understand it. Why would Loretta Davis leave the house to Daryl James? And Lady May was like, well, why would Miss Loretta leave the house to us? She did not know us. She had never even been to the church. You didn't even know about Loretta Davis until Matt got involved. It's so funny because when you listening to them talk, you can tell that they weaving this story together. I'm just not clear on the specifics. I know a lot of people have a lot of theories in my comments. And one of the best ones that I like is the fact that they think that maybe Bob Whitmore is the son of Loretta Davis. Bob Whitmore is somehow related to Loretta Davis. And Daryl James probably had some sort of relationship with Loretta Davis, and maybe the outcome of that relationship was Basie. I'm not sure on the particulars, like I said, but we're not quite sure what that would be. I'm almost wondering if Bob Whitmore might be Basie's brother, half brother. Is Bob Whitmore Loretta Davis's son? Okay, it's a whole lot that somehow they are all connected though in that way. So while they still sitting there fussing about it, Jacob comes in, looking all like,
Zora Mama's about to get picked up and she's leaving. She's going to stay with her mother. I was just wondering if you guys wanted to come down and say bye.
No, don't nobody want to say bye to that bitch. What the fuck, we all supposed to sit out here and cry that the child is... Good riddance to bad rubbish. Lady May looks at him and she says, marry someone you love next time and stay faithful. I said, oh, wait until he bring that old wild, saved ass Tasha the Skank up in there. You know, she come bring us some damn Boone's Farm for family dinner night. But anyway, he goes on out the door. Bishop tells him, we'll be down in a minute. But that bishop look at Lady May and he says, I'm not done yet. You want to talk about the holiness? Try confessing your own sins. Okay, Bishop like shit. My dirt done been ran up and down all of the streets of Nashville, Memphis, and all the surrounding cities. People know all the shit that I done did. Okay, my name is besmirchified all over the place, but yet and still, Lady May gets to be the perfect one. She been living this damn lie for 40 fucking years. How about you let everybody know what you did? You got the nerve and the gall to sit up there and tell Jacob how he should live. You ought to be ashamed of your damn self. But anyway, Jacob goes back to the room, his quarters, and he's feeling some kind of way about Zora Mama. I mean, it ain't easy when shit like this happens and marriages break up or, you know, separate or whatever. So, I mean, but I'm just sitting there like, what is this you feeling like? Are you feeling like you want to be with her? Or are you just feeling sad that this is the end of a chapter? Like, what you going through, thick neck? She's packing over there and she's feeling all bad and, you know, kind of watery eyes and everything. And he looks at her and he says, what's wrong? I just can't help thinking about how when you were talking to Zora, you just kept saying we this, we that. It just makes her so sad to think that it took them breaking up for him to finally become the husband that she thought that he was going to be when they first got together. You know what? It's obvious that the writers want us to feel sorry for Zora Mama. They cannot be thinking that the audience don't like this line of talk that Zora Mama always insists on having. I just feel like Zora Mama acts like she had nothing to do with anything. It is so annoying because not only does she say the things that she says, but Jacob never has no kind of response to it. Like, he just feels like he's super guilty for everything. And believe me, trust me, Jacob is guilty for a lot of things that he's done. I'm not saying that Jacob is innocent in any way. What I'm saying is Zora Mama is guilty as well. And it's not just about the fucking around. It is about Zora Mama being the bitch that she's been, and the reason why this family now is completely falling apart. That is my problem. But I was like, the writers obviously want us to feel a certain kind of way. I mean, a different way than we are feeling. It's falling flat for me. It's not making me feel sorry for her. It's making me more annoyed. But maybe is it helping you guys? Is it working for you guys? I know there's some Zora Mama sympathizers out there. I get it. But this shit here gets on my damn nerves. Anyways, Jacob says, well, you know what? Zora Mama, I don't regret meeting you. She starts crying and she says that you can have shared custody. I said, I knew he was getting it anyway. You wasn't keeping this baby away from him. You ain't did us none. Shit. Anyways, it's time for her to go. Okay, they go out on the front stairs. You know, everybody's 6 feet apart. We already social distancing from Zora Mama. Jacob is giving her a hug, you know, and she just feeling so sad and depressed. And then Zora gives her a hug. I mean, I guess it is sad to see your mom move out. She get her ass in the car and she get on. Gone, Zora Mama. Jacob is about to walk back in the house, you know, and Lady May is on the stairs. He says, am I able to go back inside? And she was just like, I have a confession to make. Charity pulls up. She's, why is everybody out here? What's going on? Shut up and you will find out. Lady May says, your father has helped me realize that I cannot drag the sins of the past into the future.
I didn't mean now, May.
Then, honey, she just dropped a bomb on him. Grace is the product of an affair that I had with Lionel Jeffries, and Grace and your father has known for some time, but that does not change anything. We are still a family.
Everybody is standing there shocked, looking around. I felt sorry for Grace because she was kind of standing off by herself, and what could she do but look down at the ground? Lady May, honey, she just throws that on there like, here you go.
take that. She just turned around and walk on up the stairs. I said, talk about an exit, right? Bishop goes to the granddaughters like, come on in. You ain't knew that your granny had some running in her, did you? But when the girls go back to Zora's place, afterwards, later on that evening, you know, Zora was like, I knew Granny had a little bit of freak in her. Okay, you could look at her, tell her she just had a little smidge of freakiness that she was just trying to, you know, buff away. And Sophia's glad that their relationship has gotten better. You know, have you forgiven me? And, you know, Zora was like, yeah, I was mad at you for a second, but you know what? I got back at you. And she was like, you did? What did you do? And she says, I told your mom about the pictures. And Sophia was like, you did not. And Zora ended up telling Grace about some modeling pictures that Sophia was not really happy about, and she's concerned about going back. But she didn't, you know, she softened the blow. She didn't give it to her that they was full-blown titty pics. So now it looks like Sophia's going to be able to stay. And right when Zora is leaving. So your little fun with AJ, Zora, and Sophia, that little trio ain't going to happen either, Sophia. Then, you guys, we get one of those scenes on Greenleaf when I like when the kids get together and talk. Okay, and once we get, you know, revealed something, you know, and they just be sitting back like, ain't this some shit? And they all on the deck. Jacob was like, did you know that mama was gonna say that? And Grace was like, no, I had no idea. Jacob was like, if you knew all of the shit that mama done put me through because of what happened with Zora mama. Grace was like, well, can you imagine all the shit that she's put me through my whole life? Charity was like, you know what? I done ran it through my mind and I done thought about it. I'm not gonna never be good. Okay, because where I come from, it don't matter how much I reach to hit the mark, I'm not gonna never do it because everything that happens over here is bad. Greenleaf's is bad news. She can strive for perfection, but it just ain't gonna happen. She said, but you know what? We are survivors, you know. So they all getting a good little laugh about it. They was like, we should have known. Okay, Grace, you real light skin. I mean, mama light skin, but she ain't that light. Okay, you put two light skins together, that's how you get Grace. You put light skin and dark skin together and you get Charity and Jacob. So, you know, they connecting the dots. It's all starting to make sense to them. Charity was like, does Aaron know? And Grace says, yeah. And she was like, and Kevin? I said, girl, Kevin, why does it matter? That Kevin don't give a damn about what goes on in the Greenleaf household anymore. We ain't seen him all this season. And we barely saw him last season. She was just like, Lord, I just can't believe all this been going on right up under my nose. But it was good to see that Charity, I was about to call her Chariot. Charity was actually taking a more grown-up approach to this, because remember how upset she was when Bishop and May said that they was getting a divorce, and they were like, what are you, 13 fucking years old? But anyway, while they sitting there talking, Darius calls Grace. And he's just like, Grace, I got it. I found out some information. You know, I done solved the whole thing, basically. I said, okay, are you going to tell Grace now? Okay, no, he's not going to tell her now. You know what? He wants her to come on by later on so he can tell her. I said, well, that's it, y'all. We ain't fixed to see Darius's pretty face up on this screen no more. The fact that he didn't tell her nothing, you know, he said one of the names that you gave, you know, led to something, and that kind of blew the whole thing open. So hurry up and get over here, girl. I said, once he said all that, I was like, okay, well, that's it, y'all. It was nice knowing Rick Fox. Okay, better known as Darius on the show. But yeah, that's that on that. So Grace jumps in her car, drives over to, I was like, is that his house? That sure was a nice house for a reporter. Okay, it had all kind of ambiance outside and floodlights, and you could see all the lights on the inside and the glass and everything. I said, maybe I chose the wrong profession. It's all quiet. You can hear the crickets. She goes and knocks on the door. He don't answer. She gets her phone and she calls him. Of course, it picks up the voicemail. I said, I done told y'all. Darius is a goner. So while she's leaving a message like, hey, I'm outside, where are you? A car starts to pull up. Okay, I was like, okay, maybe Darius just ran to the store and got them some wine. But nothing doing, baby. When she turns around, we see the man walking up. Is that the guy? Is that the guy that Zora mama was messing with? I couldn't really tell. But anyways, you can tell that he works with Bob Whitmore. She was like, what are you doing here? Where is Darius? And he is like, oh, I can show you right now. You know, he grabs her arm and she was like, nigga, get off of me, fool. Let go, what? Man, if you knew anything like I knew, if you saw that fight that Grace had with Mac, you would not be trying to manhandle her like that, honey. Grace got it in her for real. Don't let the long hair, soft talk, pretty face preacher thing fool you. So he let her go, but he was just like, let me tell you something. You better be careful, Grace. Nobody cares about what a journalist has to say, and nobody likes a squeaky wheel. Stay out of it. And he turned around and walked away. And honey, Grace was just standing there looking at him. I said, he lucky he don't know that he might have got stabbed in the throat. But they getting closer and closer. But yeah, you guys, that's the end of old Darius. All right, you guys, let me get off of here. Hey, if you're part of the book club, we are having Netflix movie night tonight. So you guys make sure that you log on to Patreon and join us. We are going to be watching The Old Guard. And if you are not in the book club and you are interested, then I will leave the link here and you guys can join. Okay? $2 gets you in. All right. And we're going to have us a stone cold good time tonight. 9 o'clock. Be there or be square. And I am off of here. You guys make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. itsrox. The channel is for itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.